To talk about where this story is at and to reflect on this juicy, gross saga, I chatted to the person who originally broke this story a week ago, the Daily Telegraph's national politics editor, Sharri Markson. She joined me earlier on today from Canberra. Happy Valentine's Day!
And to you too. And look, we're spending Valentine's Day night together. How exciting is that?
Oh my God, it's meant to be. Do you want to apologise to Australia for forcing us to think about Barnaby Joyce fucking?
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, I've written this story for 8 days in a row. We've had 8 front pages in the Daily Telegraph on the Barnaby Joyce story. So that means for the best part of a week and a half at work, I've been trying to avoid thinking of Barnaby Joyce in bed.
It's unavoidable, surely. All right, update us. What's happened today in Canberra? Is Barnaby Joyce safe as leader of the Nationals?
So as the day started, it looked like his future, he might not even remain as Deputy Prime Minister by the day had finished, but he is still leader. His party has come back in support of him, and there have been no open challenges. It's a question over how long that will last, whether, it will last through the rest of this month. We've got Parliament sitting again in another 2 weeks' time.
Has the PM really been calling around to shore up support and doing the numbers?
He has. He has spoken to some nationals, some senior nationals, definitely. I don't know if I'd say calling around, but he has definitely spoken to some other senior nationals about whether they still support Barnaby Joyce, and their support, what they communicated back to him, as I understand it, was that it was wavering, it was shaky. And when that question was put to Turnbull during question time yesterday by Labor, he didn't deny it at all.
How long has Barnaby got then? Until the next scandal breaks, or for the foreseeable future, do you think he's going to be okay?
Look, if Barnaby Joyce was Julie Bishop or another minister, it's pretty clear that Turnbull would have asked them to step down already. But seeing as it's the National Party, he will stay as long as he has the support of his party. And at this stage, his party are backing him.
When you wrote the story, obviously you knew it was a big scoop, big deal, front page news. Did you have any idea that it would reach this level where it's actually endangering his political career?
Absolutely none. I thought it was a one-day story where we were revealing that the Deputy Prime Minister was about to have a love child with a former staff member. That was all I thought it was going to be. And then it wasn't until, the next day that I started to really look at how the staff member, how Vicky Campion, his girlfriend, had been given 2 newly created jobs. And that took a few days for me to actually stand up and firm up that story.
How weird is it going to be for this kid when he grows up and looks all this stuff up?
Absolutely bizarre. Very, very unusual. I mean, hopefully the child will be protected from all of this scandal, until it's old enough to deal with it. Otherwise it would be very traumatic, really sad.
So there's been lots of talk. When the story broke last week, there was a lot of hand-wringing in the media and people going, oh, is this our business? And, oh, my gosh, is this in the public interest?
Yeah.
That's been clearly dismissed. This clearly is a story with public interest, with real questions that have come out in the weeks since it's been broken. But that doesn't mean that every single element that we've learnt about this story is in the public interest. There are some stuff that's just salacious gossip. Has there been anything in the reporting of this story, either at your news organisation or elsewhere around the media, that you've thought, nah, that's dodgy, that's actually off limits?
Well, there were a lot of details I left out in the story that I didn't think was strictly relevant. For example, I knew Vicky Campion was engaged when she met Barnaby Joyce, and I really didn't delve into her life any more than just reporting the fact that she was having a baby with Barnaby Joyce. So I didn't include a lot of that detail in my story, which has subsequently come out. Again, didn't delve into Barnaby's 4 daughters. I thought that was also uncomfortable and off limits. This would be a really difficult time for them. But since then, of course, other media have gone there and have provided a lot more detail about his family life and about, a confrontation between Natalie Joyce, Barnaby's wife, who he's now separated from, and Vicky Campion on the streets. They've gone into that sort of personal detail, which is, of course, their choice. But I'm political editor of the Daily Telegraph, so I just had to stick with what I felt was a political story and in the public interest.
Do you think the photo on the front page of the Daily Telly today adds anything to the public interest political story? Isn't that just a man looking at a member of his staff in one moment in a summit in 2016? We don't know the context of that photo or anything?
I think that photograph, they say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and I think that photograph does. That shows Barnaby Joyce when he was the boss of Vicky Campion in the early stages of their relationship, as I understand it, as it was developing. And, it shows exactly the sort of relationship that they were having. They were at a work event. They were sitting side by side. She's, looking beautiful in a quite provocative outfit, and he's eyeing her off. It's an appropriate picture, I reckon.
All right. How much bonking is going on at Parliament House?
A lot.
A lot? In the meditation room? What goes on there?
Meditation room's famous for romantic liaisons, but I've never gone on it to check out who's in there.
You should. That would be a great story. We'll cross to you there next time.
Next time.
Have you burnt sources from running this story? Obviously, again, massive scoop for you and front page newspaper and stuff, but does this mean there are a bunch of political actors that will never speak to you again or trust you as a source?
I don't know about trust me as a source. I think, or I hope all politicians, I think they do definitely trust me, because I've established over a long period of time that I would never give up my sources, and that's why I've been able to get cabinet leaks and things like that. But in terms of people who might not deal with me, again, because they don't like the reporting, certainly, I mean, when I've been, calling around some of the Nationals MPs, the ones who are loyal to Joyce, they really let me have it when I phone them up. They'll take the call and then just start yelling at me about how, I'm not going to use the same words, but what they think of the stories. And that's their right, not everyone is comfortable with these stories. I strongly think it's in the public interest, particularly because of the way 2 jobs were created for Vicky Campion that didn't exist beforehand. As far as I'm aware, other people were not interviewed for these positions. And that, in my mind, is definitely in the public interest.
Finally, because it is Valentine's Day, do you see anything romantic in this story? Is this a story about love triumphing against the odds?
No, I think it's quite a difficult and sad story. It's a marriage breakup. Barnaby and Natalie had been married 25 years. They have 4 adult children. I think it's very sad.
Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us, Sharri, and thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, Tom.